Greetings, everyone out there. This is the Monarch speaking, and this is Tales from the Film Set on Zengo TV, channel 250 and 249. We were just doing this before, just prior to the show, so I just figured I'd run with
I cannot believe you actually went that far with it.
Exactly, so make sure to basically download the Zengo TV app on the app stores of iOS and Android devices. When you download, make sure to rate and leave a comment. Both apps are free, so you can't beat the price. BT Dubs, Zengo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Roku, Amazon Fire Sticks, and all smart TVs 2016 and forward. And now we shall commence, because we have a lot to talk about today. And so anyway, we got a lot we're going to be going into right now. This is, of course, Tales from the Film Set. I have Mr. Robert Leckington there, Mr. Ryan O'Regan, and as you can see, Mr. JT McGuire is in here because he is actually getting comfortable and relaxed because we are going to be starting out with somewhat of a versatile topic right now, at I think Ryan/my request. And he is just going to be sitting back, just taking notes, listening to this, and then debating if he wants to be in the show again next week and next time around. We are...
And don't forget Robert.
Yes, and then there's Rob, who I have no idea what his take is on this whole thing. Yeah. But as always, basically, Tales from the Film Set is available on Twitch, Instagram, and Facebook at Tales from the Film Set, and on Twitter at Film Set Tales. So we got a couple things we're going into tonight. We're going to be talking about Multiverse of Madness and the fact that they're doing supposedly 6-day-a-week reshoots, which is an insane amount of overtime money to all crew involved. I've been through those, but we're going to discuss that one. But before we get to that, we are going to be going into something else on the Disney Universe front. Peter Dinklage recently came out with some, shall we say, harsh words of criticism for the Mouse when it came to their decision to do a live-action remake of Snow White, the latest in what is Disney's run of pretty much every animated classic, and turning it into a live-action film that pretty much no one ever really asked for. In his particular regard, he was addressing the fact that Rachel Ziegler, who to her credit broke out and became a star through West Side Story, has been cast as Snow White despite being a Latin actress. In his argument, he is discussing the fact that it is, while they are progressive in this arena, they are not in fact progressive because they're using 7 dwarfs. And he, as himself being a little person, he is finding this something that is two-faced in some way. While they're progressive on one side, they're not progressive enough on the other. In his case, basically the fact that he said literally to no offense to anyone, but I was taken aback when they were very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. Take a look and basically see what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that I can't say the entire word, backward story about 7 dwarves living in a cave together. What the F are you doing, man? So, Ryan, I've talked long enough. Give me your thoughts, sir.
Well, a couple of notes on the story that you had mentioned. First of all, it also be mentioned that along with Rachel Ziegler, Gal Gadot has also been cast as the Evil Queen. So that in a sense, even though she is a lighter complexion, she is also still a woman of a Middle Eastern.
I think she's a bad Evil Queen.
Right. So that's going to be a nice little queen that we got there. Secondly, I'd like to point out the dwarves did not live in a cave. They lived in a cottage. They worked in the caves mining. Thirdly, it's an interesting conversation to talk about because, let's face it, people like Peter Dinklage probably don't get as much work as they probably should be. I think back to the other 2 live-action Snow White movies we had in the past decade or so, Snow White and the Huntsman and Mirror Mirror. Mm-hmm. Mirror Mirror actually cast legitimate, dwarven people to be the dwarves, whereas Snow White and the Huntsman, they pretty much did like the Lord of the Rings thing, where they got like normal-size actors and just kind of like shortened them down, so at least they were shorter than Chris Hemsworth. And I think the question really becomes, when you're talking about dwarves, are we talking about the legitimate condition that many people have, or are we talking about the fantasy character? And I think that's where this really gets a little bit muddy, because the dwarves that are being mentioned here are the normal ones that you would have seen in like Lord of the Rings, like a Gimli type. You know, short, stocky, have their old clothing, have the white beards, regardless of whether or not they need a beard. And when I think dwarves, I think that. I don't think anything of a negative connotation towards anyone else. But obviously, that has become an issue over the years. So it becomes something, it's like, do you become sensitive to it, especially considering there are people of that stature that would like to have work and would probably like to have some spotlight done onto them, like Dinklage has had over the years. And he has definitely shown that he is an actor beyond simply being a short actor. He has really gravitated, like most people, when they think Peter Dinklage, they don't think of him like that. They think of him as like just being Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah.
And that character acting. So, do you deny people work because you want to be something more progressive and you want to get regular actors with some name value that could be shrunk down, or do you actually give these people a chance? It becomes a very muddy water, and I think it's something that should be open to discussion, considering I don't think a lot of people who are differently abled get enough work in the industry.
Mm-hmm. I'll open it up to you guys before I say anything myself. Or if you want to concede, basically pass it on. That's fine. I have no problem with that either. If you want, yeah.
So I don't know where to really start with this. I guess the first thing you kind of brought up is the fact that are we, with this film, are we insulting the fact that of the character of the dwarfs, because they aren't human? They're actually the creatures, the dwarfs, in this story. So is the argument here that you're portraying small people in the film and not realizing that they're like a mythical creature? Or is he offended by the fact that like these are the only roles that most actors of his size usually get? Which, as you even pointed out, the Huntsman, they just took regular actors and used CG to shrink them down.
Yeah, you had people like who were the dwarves in that movie? I think it was one of them was Bob Hoskins. Another one was Toby Jones, who, mind you, is shorter than most people. It's like
I can't think of the actor's name, but the one who played Swearinger in Deadwood.
Oh, I never watched Deadwood. Oh,
he's been a very famous actor the last 10 years.
Nick Frost. Nick Frost was one of them, and he's a mountain of a man.
He played Santa Claus once.
Yeah.
I feel so bad because I never remember actors' names. No wonder actors hate me. Who the person who ran the hotel in John Wick?
Oh yeah, I know the guy.
Yes, he was one of them.
Yeah.
I like
that. So again, versatile crew of men portrayed as those characters, but because of CGI and movie magic, they're like here on Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah. So I guess that's the thing. What is Peter Dinklage's actual argument here?
I don't know. I mean, is he pissed off about the fact that they're being? He's pissed off about the fact they're progressive. When it comes to casting a Latin woman to play Snow White, but he's agitated about the dwarves and. Here's the thing. I don't know. I do know. I mean, here's the thing. Disney has already come out and responded to this. And they've been actually working with apparently people in the dwarfism industry to make sure that it is, Disney safe, I guess. Because Disney is really pushing in that direction with a lot of different things. And they've already been consulting on this. And I would suspect they've been probably at this for a couple of years now because of how fast they had that statement come back as soon as Dinklage went forward with this. But at the end of the day, I mean, is he pissed about the fact that they're in it? Is he pissed about the fact that maybe they're going to be their stereotype, which, by the way, in this case, sneezy, happy, grumpy, dopey, sleepy, bashful, and Doc covered my eyes because I have it memorized. So I don't know. Is he looking at it from this perspective? I mean, we got to extend the question. Is there going to be gay ones? Are they going to basically, gay couple? Will Dopey and Sneezy be married in this one? Will one of them be a trans black woman? We don't. I mean, like I said, this is Disney. We don't know what to expect with this. Maybe that's what he's agitated about. I don't know.
I mean, it's there's so much progression in here, and then there's still an argument of not enough progression. Like he right now, he is doing a version of Cyrano de Bergerac, which he plays Cyrano, but instead of course, being about someone with a big nose, it's about someone who's shorter than average. And of course, they have a diverse cast in that film. And then you come to this one again, diverse cast over here on Snow White. But then it's you have these people, you have him arguing not diverse enough.
Yeah.
Well, I think the question really comes with this is it's Disney. And Disney, while they have tried, especially with the live action movies, they haven't always hit the mark.
They have not tried. They are remaking a film that they made 80 years ago on top of all the other films they've remade in the last 10 years. And I think the only thing they're doing that's new is hiring a diverse cast to play these roles. Outside that, it's going to be the same boring film their last few live action. Is anyone in of the four of us, is anyone planning to go see this film?
I didn't even know they were doing it. And no.
As a Disney file, I have to go by default.
Rob's not gonna. Yeah, that's a no.
Rob, are you seeing it?
Yeah. No.
Do you have any thoughts on this?
All right. Yeah, it's right. You gotta look at the tech problem going on. That's fine. You can hold up signs if you need to. Just Yeah.
Yeah. My connection is crap tonight, so I'm not gonna do my thing because
type notes and we'll just talk on your behalf. But
his connection has caught COVID.
Yeah, apparently it has. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Disney. I mean, I'm looking. It's funny. I'm looking at like the Disney collection that's over here right now, and Oliver and Company, Lady and the Tramp, Little Mermaid. I'm looking at all of these, and I'm like, they did that one. They did that one. They didn't do that one yet. They haven't done that one yet. And it's like more like a when, not if kind of a thing. I mean, Oliver and Company, The Aristocrats, Robin Hood. We had a Disney Robin. I loved that one when I was a kid. And go ahead.
I would watch a live action version of Black Cauldron.
Ooh.
Because the animation one was but I think a live action would be a good version of that. And it would give it a second shot. Cue
the question when they're going to do a live action Fantasia. That's got to be coming. They did do a sequel. They did Fantasia 2000. No one cared.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch Fantasia.
I saw that in theaters. It was not worth the money.
I don't think a live action version of that is
Death Metal
2000 anyone needs.
Death Metal or
Heavy Metal 2000.
Heavy Metal 2000. Yeah, I saw that too. That was kind of trash. That was
I think I was 15 when I saw that, and as a 15-year-old, I was like, yeah. I don't think I would like it now. Anyway, how do we move from Snow White to Heavy Metal 2000?
So Heavy Metal 2000.
So anyway, there's a Corvette over here. Let's talk about potato salad. Basically, do you like pepper and potato salad? No, but in this case, in all seriousness, I mean, I don't know. Is it in some way being done to generate buzz, for a movie that I think a lot of people didn't, including myself, didn't even know existed?
Well, to create buzz for Snow White or to create buzz for Cyrano?
Snow White. I mean, I didn't know they were doing Cyrano, but we're talking about Disney and Snow White.
I mean, why would Peter Dinklage care at all about Snow White and giving them publicity?
I don't know. All I can say is that basically speaking as a pudgy, pasty ginger from New Jersey, there is not enough representation for my type.
I think that's where it comes into it, though, because outside of Peter Dinklage, who else is representative of the dwarfism community in Hollywood?
What about
Robert Davis is probably the only other person you can possibly think of.
But he's British. But then there was also that black one from the Bad Santa movies.
Tony Cox, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's been. He's had a good working career. The one that played.
But obviously, we're talking about actors who are far and few between as far as name recognizability, and also actors who, for the most part, usually get typecasted.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's hard for them to go ahead and get work on something like this. And unfortunately, one of the only possibilities would be if someone made a dwarf movie, and that's almost like a slap in the face along with a paycheck. It's kind of like a little demoralizing in a sense.
I mean, I can, if I were in his shoes, I could kind of understand the argument of the frustration there. But I think he should have thought about it before he kind of said it.
It could be one of those things. It just triggered an insecurity or an agitation that's already been pre-existing, and you just go off on it.
Well, in the sense, if you remember when we talked about it, the uproar from Simu Liu when Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings was being promoted, and they were going along with the release experiment, and how that kind of set him off. You know, it's like when something is going to go ahead and, hurt your personal sphere of, who you are, of course, you're bound to be a little defensive about it. And I think the whole thing with the Disney not actually casting anyone in the, hold on if I can, sleepy, dopey, bashful, sneezy, grumpy, Doc.
Sneezy, happy, grumpy, dopey, sleepy. I think you missed.
Sleepy. All right.
Dancer, Prancer, Cancer, and Vixen.
Obviously, Richard and Nixon, like Scott did, but
no, that's for 40 years.
When they cast in those roles, but they got the Evil Queen, they got Snow White, they even cast some guy who's not going to be Prince Charming. They haven't even said what that role is going to be for him, but they haven't cast those folks, so it stands to reason that they're trying to be at least smart about how they want to necessarily approach this. We don't even know if this is going to be in like a fairy tale sort of environment, or if it's going to be modernized in some way, like what they've done with the Little Mermaid, and how that's going to be current as opposed to decades and centuries ago.
And in this case here, like I said, it's the latest in a long line, and I don't know. These movies are not really doing that well. And if history is any indication, with like say Mulan and all the rest of them, if they release it to theaters and Disney Plus and charge you $35, to see it on Disney Plus, I don't think anybody's doing that. Disney Plus is not getting the numbers they want it to get anyway. It is way behind.
It would probably depend on the movie. I mean, look at Cruella. That did obviously well enough to get a sequel.
Well, yeah, Cruella though, but Cruella was okay and different a little bit that way. But if you looked at what happened with, like I said, Little Mermaid, I think Mulan, actually, correction, Mulan definitely. But there was a couple in there where they charged like $30 on Disney Plus to be able to see it before everybody else did. But there's already been some massive issues with as far as the subscriber count to D Plus, where nobody's really watching it like they want it to be.
Well, yeah, because people will sign up for whatever is new that's coming out, and then they may go ahead and cancel. It's the same issue that the WWE had with their $9.99 sales promotion, when people would go ahead and sign up for the network back when they had it. People would go ahead, they'd sign up for like the free pay-per-view that month, and then they'd probably cancel.
By the way,
it took a while to actually get them up to a point where they were comfortable.
I got the best one. I found the best subscriber service ever of all the mainstream stuff. The Weather Channel has a premium now, so you can get weather. I don't know what's in it. It's like
you can't be serious.
No, I'm there, dude. I go to weather.com to find out, like, if it's going to snow or something like that, and it keeps coming up with pop-ups on the phone. Basically, you want up-to-the-minute updates, and it tries to get you to pay for Weather Channel premium.
I'm sorry, unless it gives me a VR experience where I'm actually inside a tornado, which, mind you can already get in Fortnite right now. Yeah. I don't care.
Go ahead, JT.
Actually, I'm not sure if I should say this because I don't know if I'm saying something.
Type it down below. I'll clear it.
No, it's in the moment, so I'll pass on it. I'll just say I learned something recently, but probably why promoting it on a Fox-wide network is probably not the best idea.
Yeah, in the comments, you got to hear it. Anyway, how you doing over there, Rob? You good?
Rob is dead.
Yeah. I know the poor guy's got no signal over there.
I love it when we have Rob on. He humbles us all.
Dude, he's so awesome. He's really is. Thank you. God bless you for being here, even if it doesn't work out the way you wanted it to be. So, I like the background too. So he's got like this sun background, like this glow in the back, So
I know it makes him vibrant, as opposed to like
That's
faded out
weird.
like I am, looking like
It's almost like an aura coming off.
Three
It's just like
shades
this aura of
pastier than usual.
enlightenment. Ah, all hail the Lackington.
Yeah, Rob's at least got color in his face.
Exactly.
I've got like
unless us pasty bastards.
yeah, I have color in that I have all the colors ever created all in one color.
You have a color, you just don't have color. So
So do we have anything else to say on
yes
on Snow White or even Cyrano? By the way, I saw the trailer for this. At first I saw just a picture of him and the name, and I went, "Oh, that's an interesting idea. I like Peter Dinklage. Seeing him as Cyrano would be very interesting." And then I watched the trailer and I went, "No, that looks like it's going to be bad."
yeah, but I would still watch it.
But hey, Jersey represent, man. He's from Morristown.
Yeah, I know, but
But
so, there's
just always been like a good story, though. I mean, I don't know if either of you ever saw Roxanne with Steve Martin.
Oh yeah,
many
that's
moons
one of
ago.
the first things I was thinking about. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
there was a version of Cyrano de Bergerac, and I know I'm screwing up his last name. The actual tale, a movie that came out somewhere in the 90s that was really well done, and I suggest to anyone to watch that.
Gerard Depardieu.
Okay.
I believe so.
Yes. Yeah, because when it comes to that stuff, you go with the one French guy everybody knows.
And it was very well done, but
which, mind you, his one movie, My Father the Hero, has been dubbed the cringiest movie of all time.
I only remember the trailer of that one.
I worked background on one of his films once, and it was one of those things where apparently the DP and the director got into screening matches literally every hour. That there would be days where they would just wrap people out. We were there at 7:30 in the morning, and then realized by like 10 o'clock they're not getting anything done today because it's like, I'm from the Bronx, you are a frog from, and they would go back and forth like this all the time. And they by 10 o'clock they're like, yeah, we're not getting anything done today, so we're just gonna wrap you guys and let you go home.
Yeah, so you don't get that with Peter Dinklage.
And I was gonna say, does that happen all the time? Like, oh my god, we can't wait to get off this thing.
I remember a few years ago, I went to a seminar for how to run a film festival with a friend of mine, and they actually had a very up and coming DP there. I can't think of her name at the moment, but she explained about one of the films she was on. She was shooting with Daniel Radcliffe, where her and the director would just get into these fights, and Daniel Radcliffe would have to come in and separate them.
Oh God!
But then they went kind of into detail about, like, if you are going to hire a DP for your film, what you have to remember, what you have to do is make sure their vision matches your vision. Like, have the DP actually like draw out what they see for the film, so you get an idea of what the shots are be like. And if you don't agree on it, you don't have to hate the person, but find a different DP. Yeah. Don't find a DP you're going to fight with every day on set.
That's exactly what this was 100% was. And it was one of those things that, the PAs and the ADs were telling us to just don't make eye contact with either one of them right now. Just face somewhere else. Because apparently this was such a routine thing. And it was some movie with Gerald Depardieu and like Jacqueline Bisset. I don't remember what the name of it was. You can probably find it.
I was going to ask, do you know if this movie was any good? Because usually when you hear stuff like that, the movie usually doesn't end up very good.
I don't know. If you did enough homework, I've given you enough to work on in this case. And apparently, like, the director and DP had worked on this stuff previously and worked on stuff together since. So I guess they worked it out. But oh my God, it was like, well, at least I'm going home early. I'm back to the house before noon here.
Speaking of DPs, next story is about the crew and many actors getting a lot of overtime.
Segue.
By the way, if your neck hurt from that sudden conversation, the topic change there, a little stiff neck. So yes. By the way, let me just do the random plug. This, of course, is Tales from the Film Set. We have many years in the film industry. We see stuff firsthand. We got kind of dumb stories on that. On Twitch, on Facebook, and on Instagram at Tales from the Film Set, YouTube as well, and also on Twitter at Film Set Tales. So, on to the main topic of conversation of what we were planning to discuss in this particular case, a multiverse of madness behind the scenes. Rumors
Doctor Strange. I even have an image for it.
This is why
it is strange.
Oh, wait,
God,
that's
why you
Dr.
such a-
Terrible. Never mind. Wrong image. Wrong image, people.
All right, yeah, that was an indie project that I had done.
That's a variant no one asked for.
I guess it was like end of 2012, beginning of 2013. I want to say, it was a web series that we did 3 episodes on it, and it was okay, But yes, it had a good logo. I give it credit. But no, we were talking about a different Doctor in this case, Doctor Strange. The sequel is coming out May 3rd, and as rumors are continuing to persist, they are in the process of doing 6-day-a-week reshoots right now. And I have to.
But this is after they've already done like a whole slew of reshoots from November up to I think they finished January 17th.
Yeah, they may have just wrapped that. And I mean, God, the movie's coming out in 3 months. But in this case, the questions that I have for all of you guys is A, why? And B, I mean, 6-day-a-week reshoots are massive. And I mean, tens of millions of dollars in overtime and everything like that, because of how the whole system works, that even if you brought in a different crew, it is a bear and a half. There's a project here in New York that shoots 6-day weeks. I know how much those guys get paid. And doing that and taking that instead from a TV to a full out movie level, and on top of that, a Disney movie. I mean, you are probably tacking on, 20, 30, $40 million even for these reshoots. Why?
Because Spider-Man No Way Home was such a success. And I think the rumor is right now, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess what they want to do is try to stick in as many sort of Easter eggs as possible. Like, oh, look, what if this actor played this Marvel superhero? What if this person was this? I wouldn't be shocked if somehow Hugh Jackman shows up as Wolverine in this.
There's talk that actually Hugh Jackman is making an appearance in this.
So I think a lot of this is just to try to stick in as much fanfare as possible, because I think that's what drew people into Spider-Man. And I think maybe Disney feels this is the only way people are going to go see Multiverse of Madness. But that's my take.
In your case, do you think Disney's scared right now?
Scared that like it wouldn't do well unless they did all this stuff?
That scared, or scared that maybe they're losing a foothold to what DC has going on right now, and also Sony. Correction.
Does DC really have a foothold? Oh, so Sony maybe,
They're
but
getting there
Sony.
a little bit. Go ahead.
Sony kind of has. They kind of need, I think, Disney to do well, like, because it's really that shared universe there. With like, what are they going to do? They're going to start making Amazing Spider-Man films again, and that's going to beat out the Spider-Mans they've been doing with Marvel for the last 10 years or 5 years.
I think if they did one Tobey Maguire and one Andrew Garfield, I think the fans will go to see that as kind of a where are they now if it's done correctly.
Well, there's been enough talk about trying to reboot the Amazing Spider-Man 3 that was on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And to that, Garfield pretty much responded, "Where were you people in 2014?
I know.
We were wondering what happened with the film the first time around. Also, why he wasn't entertaining. All right, I'm gonna stop what I was gonna say there. Now, before No Way Home came out, I was saying, like, I was very excited to see Tobey Maguire. I didn't care about Andrew Garfield. I was excited about seeing Tobey Maguire. And after No Way Home, and at this point, I think we can safely say we can give some spoilers here. We know Andrew Garfield and
it's been a month.
Tobey were in the film.
I think we've already kind of unofficially did it in this conversation anyway.
So I thought Andrew Garfield did incredibly good in his role as Spider-Man again in this film. It made him likable enough that I want to see him in another film. Amazing Spider-Man 2 was so dramatic and so over bloated and so boring at points. It didn't really make you excited to see a third one.
Well, I think there were some choices in there about, like, making Jimmy Fox blue, the Rhino suit. There was a lot of things that I think people were not fond of in that particular movie.
I mean, like, yeah, that's like the most obvious. It's like they just pulled out from Batman Forever with that one. But even ignoring that, a bigger turnoff to me was actually the Green Goblin Harry Osborn storyline. Like, that was just like jammed right in there. I didn't care at all about Harry Osborn that film. You killed off Norman at the beginning. Like, what a stupid idea.
Norman never seems to survive these things, does he?
No, he doesn't. He didn't even survive the first 5 minutes of that film.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm dying and I'm dead.
Well, because
But-
Green Goblinness is a disease, so apparently.
But like you said, I mean, in this case, I think a lot of people were shocked by how enjoyable and likable Andrew Garfield was. Maybe it was under a different direction. Maybe that's part of the reason for it. But it gave people, I think, like I said, a desire that they wouldn't mind seeing a Where Are They Now? And almost, I'm not going to say Batman Beyond-esque approach to Spider-Man, like in Tobey Maguire's case especially. But I have to go back to the original point here. With Disney, are they starting to panic a little bit because they're seeing the numbers in the box office from Shang-Chi, from the Eternals, from the Disney Plus stuff, and they're seeing what's not working on their side, but clearly working in other arenas. And maybe they're trying to panic shoehorn stuff in and be like, that, oh boy, just to try and save this franchise as well.
The only thing I can think of where they would be in a panic is the fact that their CEO is such a new guy and so inexperienced on the entertainment end. He is more of a theme park person. I could see him going to panic mode. I mean, we just had an episode a while back where he talked about how he lost the possibility of getting the chairmanship for Disney, and I'm sure that makes him very nervous. But I mean, do you see Kevin Feige like panicky about this stuff? Well, I guess he could be losing his job, so maybe.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to be tied to the legacy of what's hurting the MCU under your leadership?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, you think I think that's when you see them go into panic mode. If Kevin Feige decides to step down as president of Marvel Studios, that's when oh, things are not going well.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened yet.
So, Ryan?
Let me divert to Rob first and foremost.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Rob, any thoughts considering you're hearing about a production that's obviously just taking care of it?
So, you can hear me?
Yeah, we can. So video's not caught up, but don't worry about that. Just roll with it.
Art man. I went and saw the original. I don't know where we're at in this conversation, but are we on Doctor Strange or are we past that?
No, we're on that now.
Yep.
In that universe, in that arena. So.
Well, yeah, just that I went and saw it at the Korean Theater in Monrovia, California. I thought that the movie was really good and everything, and so film featuring Doctor Strange. To me, I think that would be a good thing. I mean, so. I do know of the.
But what about the production aspect of it? Like, you hear about a production that's going to be doing like these 6 day a weeks, constantly turning over from one day to the next. As someone who goes on set probably more often than certainly my JT or myself, what does that tell you about the production?
Yeah, no, I thought that
You're gonna get comfortable. Get comfortable.
the film itself, I mean, it's interesting to get to know a kid in previous episodes that I'm more of a DC guy. When it comes to Marvel and these other characters, it's interesting to be able to production wise. I think that with Doctor Strange, you get that sort of feeling that it's a decent enough. If decent, I don't know where I'm going. I would like to see the second one. That would be more.
Let's see. Comment through Facebook. Comment through Facebook.
I think there's a point that Rob is making here. Like, when you look at the first Doctor Strange, and it was probably a little bit more street level than what we got with No Way Home, as far as the mirror dimension and all the mysticism that he's capable of handing out. If we're going to be going into a production with like all these different universes, all these different potential places that we could go, all these potential characters that we could see, I'm not too worried about the additional shoot times. I mean, are they going to hammer onto it because it's due in like a few months? Absolutely. But obviously there's enough done already that they've gotten a first trailer out. They've gotten enough for us to get a taste for it. And for all we know, it may not be as bloated as it seems. And it's pretty much just the simple fact that in order to get the visuals right, they may need to go back to the drawing board and try something else or try something different. I think Sam Raimi himself even said that as of right now, he can't say that he has a complete movie. So there just may be certain things that he's really just trying to iron out to the point that it's going to be satisfactory for what they're trying to accomplish.
Now we have a comment from Malcolm. It says that he doesn't honestly think that basically the reshoots are a bad thing. It just could be they want to add more cameos in there. And we talked about Hugh Jackman being a possibility of those cameos. It does beg the question, who are they going to toss in there and how far are they going to go with it? Remember, there is also a Disney X-Men 97 reboot, Cal Dodd and all the ones from the X-Men from the 90s that are there. So I saw the eye roll there, JT. I won't forgive you for that one if that's a legitimate eye roll. Listen, I grew up on that one, man. I dug that one.
So did I, but I don't think it's going to be a good reboot. I rather it stay in my childhood.
I'm questioning that part of it too. But are they going to tie that into it? Where you're going to have Cal Dodd be like, "I go where I want to go," and that Wolverine voice again. It wouldn't surprise me if they figured out some way to incorporate that.
If they're on good terms with Ryan Reynolds, I'm hoping they use this as a way to finally get Deadpool into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, but Deadpool's they want Deadpool 3 to be rated PG-13. He doesn't want that. He wants to go full R.
See, I would argue if they were going to do Deadpool, they would have brought him in No Way Home because obviously he's somebody who knows that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. They could have easily played off the whole fourth wall break on that.
But I kind of always had this thing where, like, I don't know what direction they're now going to go with the film, but I always pictured for Multiverse of Madness, they're trying to go through dimensions, and in one hop, they try to pull something from another dimension, and it just splatters all over them, and blood and guts all over the ground. Because at the time, I thought it was going to be rated R. And it's like, oh, God, what a mess. Okay, we're going to have to be more careful next time. And then you forget about all that happening, and then you come for the after credits, and you notice like all that is kind of cleaned up a little bit, and suddenly it's a naked Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, just like walking around.
Well, I mean, listen, in Deadpool, they made Green Lantern a thing, and that credit scene where Ryan Reynolds is like, "This is the best work I've ever done." Deadpool just shoots Ryan Reynolds in the head.
Thank you. You'll thank me later, Canada.
God, I freaking died in that scene too. Oh, Robin didn't get it, but by God, that was amazing. But I mean, what else would they be able to do? They bring in, Howard the Duck. They might have to throw something in there too. I think about it in some way. If you ever saw like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated one from 2009, where it crossed over from like the 2003 Ninja Turtles with like the 87 Ninja Turtles, and then how that series, how the end of that movie went in, and they brought in everything, including the dark future where Splinter was killed and Donatello disappeared. They did one episode of Ninja Turtles from the early 2000s that nobody was prepared for. One of the best, darkest episodes they had. That was a universe that was mentioned in this movie.
Okay.
And then,
I thought you were talking about that movie they made.
What's that?
They made for the 2003 Ninja Turtles. They made one finale, which ended up being a movie, but they didn't have a dark future. The very final scene was they go into the comic book universe.
No, one of the ones that was mentioned was an episode that they had in season 3 where Donatello disappeared, and then the entire Ninja Turtles fell apart. Splinter or Shredder won, and you see Scar and disfigured Ninja Turtles, and Splinter is dead. Casey Jones is dead. It was dark.
I don't think they did anything like that. I know they showed all the different universes.
I will show you that episode.
You'll have to show me that.
Hell yeah.
Okay, Turtles aside.
Yes.
I would want to also point out that there's probably one thing that we haven't touched on Marvel-wise that I think plays very key into Multiverse of Madness, and that's Marvel's What If.
Also
Now, a
true.
lot of people speculated that the other Doctor that you saw in the trailer for Multiverse of Madness was the Strange Supreme, the evil
Mhm.
Doctor that we saw in that show. Obviously, there have been enough people that have debunked that, but when they made that show, they made essential, important notifications that this is canon.
Mhm.
Even though this multiverse stuff in the show has nothing to do with the core MCU 616, whatever you want to call it, it is all
I heard
still
places
canon.
they said it was going to be non-canon.
Now they
Hmm.
said it was canon.
Who
You can
said
go
it was
back and check
canon?
it. Which makes me think that if they're doing any kind of reshoots, it may be
I'm
to
looking this up now.
incorporate things that they've already introduced in that show.
Mm.
Especially when you've looked online, you've seen newer images of the new Zoe Saldana getting back into makeup for Guardians 3.
Mhm.
What if they're bringing in her Gamora with all the Thanos armor and everything like they showed in the animated series? What if they're bringing in an Eric Killmonger who's already Wakanda-esque and all Black Panthered out in order to help lead into Wakanda Forever, the sequel that is also still being worked on?
Yeah,
What
now-
if
now-
they just get Haley Atwell to be Captain Britain?
Yeah,
You
I mean,
know-
Malcolm has another comment here. Basically, there's rumors that Peggy Carter as Captain America, which was what from the What If, will end up appearing, and that would make sense. I can see.
Yeah,
that.
so
I
think
wouldn't
that's
mind that.
really where
That'd be
some
cool.
of this may be. It's not so much bringing in new stuff, but it's definitely trying to establish stuff that they've already created that maybe if you didn't have Disney Plus, you wouldn't know about.
You know, Henry Cavill was kind of trying to get the role of Captain Britain. I wonder, do you think he might make a quick appearance somewhere?
Dude, wouldn't that be a shot to DC right there?
It's like,
I
well,
mean,
you don't want to be a
considering they already
Superman,
are
so
getting
here
rid of
I
the
am.
Snyderverse, why not?
What's that, Ryan?
They are getting rid of the Snyderverse in the Flash movie. They're pretty much retconning everything that's not like directly connected.
Mhm.
So why not start to cherry pick some DC people?
You know, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, between James Gunn, and some of the other people that went from Marvel to DC, maybe it's going to be trying to, pluck a few from the other way around.
Possibly. And
Yeah.
I think that would make for a better surprise than trying to do a recast of a Marvel character that's already been embedded in our brains for so many movies, even if it's not part of the MCU. I
mean-
would rather see Henry Cavill as Captain Britain rather than seeing Hugh Jackman as Wolverine again.
But
Well,
Hugh Jackman
I
is bringing
think-
money.
Yeah. And also, it would probably be a small thing. It wouldn't be like a permanent thing. I think even Hugh Jackman has said he doesn't want to play the character anymore. So it's probably just be like a quick, hey, I'm here, and then disappear.
So basically, like X-Men First Class, his appearance in that movie.
Yes.
Where they approach him at the bar.
I will laugh even more if during the film Doctor Strange opens a door and it's just Hugh Jackman there. He goes "F off," and then he's just all right.
Yep. So,
But I don't think Marvel is that frivolous with their cameos. Everything they do is like for a reason.
Oh wait!
even if long-term or short-term.
We got another comment here from Malcolm. I think that Thanos armor. Gamora will play into
Good job.
the
Good
Guardians of the Galaxy version 3.
Yeah.
So
Possibly.
What if similar plot of Guardians 3? If and when they ever have Guardians 3.
Well, I mean, we already know they're going to be searching for the Gamora that came through at Endgame, considering the other one got killed off. So who knows? Maybe Peter Quill has to deal with two Gamoras. It's like, oh my god, love triangle.
I was going to say, and he would get excited by that. Yes.
Who doesn't want more Zoe Saldana? I'm just saying.
Exactly. So,
funny enough, I'm not sure if I think it's just maybe burnout at this point. It's like we've raised the stakes so many times on the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we lost our two biggest stars over there right now. The only one we have left is Thor, who may or may not be in the next Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm a little like I could use a rest from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and maybe that's what's happening. Maybe some people just need a break from it.
Well, that's the thing. In 2021, we got so much Marvel between the movies and the television series and all the rumors for stuff that's coming next year. And it was a lot at once, especially when 2020 gave us nothing.
Yeah, Henry
So
Cavill.
another comment from Malcolm. Malcolm is being our MVP in the comment section.
Exactly.
Oh, no,
Henry-
Malcolm Lane, my boy from Full Metal Random.
Okay.
Henry Cavill should play Sentry. And actually, just to mention that, like, are we going to force Henry Cavill to play every Superman ripoff in the Marvel universe at this point?
Yes.
I don't think he wants to do it.
He can have a mustache if he wants to. I'm not against it.
Oh, but Sentry. Oh. Look,
Yeah.
we've already seen what he's like with a long wig on in The Witcher. So, I mean, that's not necessarily new for the look.
Who's the guy
But,
from
ooh, as
yeah.
the would-be hero who just destroys everything needlessly. That would be such a burn to DC. That would be like right in the jugular, like right
who's
here.
the Shi'ar Guardian character? Do you remember?
Gladiator.
Gladiator.
With
Thank
the,
you. That
with the
was-
mohawk.
yeah. I was trying to think. I was going to say Guardian, but no. Yeah.
Oh no, we
Gladiator,
lost Rob.
Yeah. Now we have At. Hey At. I only suggest that because that would be the ultimate fu to DC. Yeah, and these two I think are raising the stakes a little bit right now because now I think at this
I
point
agree.
Marvel is starting to see DC as a bit of a threat. Where originally it's like, oh yeah, they have another movie. Oh, good for you. You have Suicide Squad.
Yes.
You got Will Smith. Yeah, we don't care. And now you're starting to see some stuff, and maybe Disney is losing its foothold a little bit. Marvel's losing its foothold a little bit, and DC is starting to make some headway, with the new Suicide Squad, with Peacemaker, and what they have going on. Obviously, there's excitement for the Robert Pattinson Batman, and maybe Marvel is not as sure as they used to be.
Well, because when you look at last year, if you want to say like the surest thing was No Way Home, that's
Yeah.
still a Sony property, whether you like it or not.
Yep.
So
And I think
I mean,
Disney's running scared with that.
Venom 2, the Spider-Man movie, and Morbius, when we finally get it in
Mhm.
April, hopefully, they have their own train running.
But I mean, Marvel,
I mean, that could be a train wreck, though.
yeah, but Marvel Disney is saturating right now. And you talked about burnout. I agree with 100%. I mean, to me, Endgame was kind of like my finale in my head. I mean, I saw, the other Spider-Man movies and things like that. But I think for a lot of people, they felt their closure there. And now you've got, Love and Thunder, you got She-Hulk, you got What If Season 2. You have so many more things on the horizon. And it's the same kind of burnout that I think people had with Star Wars, where you're kind of like, okay, well, when the movie came out, and both story arcs, when the movie came out, it was an event, it was an experience, it was something adding to the legacy. And then after a while, it's like, okay, we have another movie, we got this. And after a while, you're just kind of like, okay, and it's you go and see it, but you're not really as ingrained because you've lost the fact that the movie going experience is now just a movie to go see.
The experience part.
Wait,
has
I want to
diminished.
kind of touch on Star Wars real fast since we moved to that. No, I don't think it was burnout really with Star Wars, in my opinion. I really enjoyed Rogue One. I would, if they kept going that direction with originals movies with original stories, I would have been happy to go do it. But they screwed up with Solo, and they petered out very quickly with the new trilogy. If those didn't suck.
I'm 46 years old. I remember what it was like, for Return of the Jedi and how big that was. I was a kid, granted, but I remember that experience. And then to go 16 years, say what you want about Phantom Menace, episode 1. People camped out literally for 2 months straight to be the first one in the theater, not to buy the tickets, to be the first one in the theater. That movie released in May. They started camping out in tents in March because that's how big Star Wars was back then. And even the trilogy itself, say what you want, it was such an experience. And then after that, you had Clone Wars, which obviously got better with every season. And then and Disney took over, and they started to just go through the sequels. And then basically we started having a movie every single year instead of like every 3 years, instead of, this desire to salivate over new content. You just knew there was new content coming because Disney was like, we're going to basically have more Star Wars content than you'll be alive to be able to see.
It's kind of funny that there's a comic online called Control Delta Lee. It's been around for quite some time. But I remember after Star Wars Disney bought Star Wars, that he actually did a comic saying, oh, well, of course the film's going to be good, but we're going to oversaturate the hell out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And they did.
You know, I remember seeing there was a comic strip in 1999. I forget which one. It was Foxtrot was the name of the comic strip. And basically, the oldest son is working at the movie theater. Kid comes in and is like, I want 6 tickets to Phantom Menace. Okay, what time? What do you mean? Well, we have 9, 11, 1, 3, 5, and 7. He's like, yeah, I know. I want 6 tickets.
Wow.
And like I said, that was the experience. It took all of us a second, but I never forgot it because that was the experience of Star Wars back then. And now you're like, okay, Mandalorian was cool. Yeah, we got something that actually felt like Star Wars again. So
but again, that's something different. That's not something that's rehashing the same characters and giving continuality to things that should have been finite.
I mean,
a book of Boba Fett.
I mean, are they going to fark up? And I can say fark. Are they going to fark up Obi-Wan and are they going to fark up Ahsoka? I'm more concerned about Ahsoka, to be honest with you. What's that?
I'm hoping not. I'm hoping someone had a rumor about Obi-Wan Kenobi because they said I guess someone said oh look, Darth Vader is saying how he it's been a long time since their battle, but they don't think it's the one from Revenge of the Sith. They think it's something that's going to happen in this film. Darth Vader will fight Obi-Wan Kenobi one more time before the final battle from A New Hope. I am so tongue-tied right now. I'll hand it back to you.
Hang in there. We got about 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. You can muscle through. Hang in there. But, I mean, there is talk of that. But, again, is it going to be something where it's going to be, I don't know, less well-received is my concern. And like I said, Ewan McGregor was fantastic playing Alec Guinness. And I give Rosario Dawson credit. She was not Ashley Eckstein, who was Ahsoka for so long. But I could go with it. I can work with it. And I'm curious to see what happens with Ahsoka trying to track down Ezra Bridger at the end, after Rebels. That's where that storyline's supposed to be going, and battling Thrawn and everything that happens there. But are they going to Disney Plus this too much? And that's what worries me. And that's what worries me with a lot of the Marvel stuff too.
Yes.
So, yeah, take a breath, Scotty. Take a breath. So,
all right, so I think we got 2 minutes left. So,
do you guys have anything you want to say left?
I mean, my thoughts on Star Wars are slim and nil. I mean, I've watched the movies, can't say I care that much. And, as my boy Amaru did on his One Gotta Stay, like I said, as long as, if the actors could get something off of this, fine. But, I mean, the only one I've seen that's gotten anything off Star Wars recently has been, Oscar Isaac. Where's the stuff for John Boyega? Where's the stuff for
Ryan? Just because we got a minute left, we just want to get this one last comment in.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'll let you read because I suck at reading apparently.
Yeah, well, actually,
I can read it.
So go for it.
I'm still really excited for the MCU. I don't feel burnout, and I think that the MCU are now planning to build up the new heroes and set for the next big event. Fair. I consider Iron Man Endgame as MCU Book 1 and far from being the epilogue.
Far from home being the epilogue. Okay.
Yeah. Marvel is, definitely one of those things that they can go on. And Malcolm, he's a diehard fan. I love him.
Respect.
But, at this point, it's about pacing because we never even got it that busy in the beginning.
So, but, we got to wrap this up at this point. So, yeah. Thank you to Rob. I know Rob muscled through on all this kind of stuff. I know basically, did best he could. I'll talk to him after the show. Thanks to you guys as always. I appreciate that. Thanks to Malcolm. I see all your comments there. So I'm pointing to your comments right now. But one more time, like I said, this is Tales from the Film Set. You can find us on Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Tales from the Film Set. And then also on Twitter at Film Set Tales. If you're not sure what Tales from the Film Set is, that's the name of it right there. We got these fantastic designer shirts, and I have Ryan's, I think, or Rob gave me yours. I think I got to take care of that. You. God, I can't do. God, this is the problem with being dyslexic, man. I can't figure anything.
Just the camera next time. God.
Yeah. JT, wherever you are up there, you. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. By the way, Thursday afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern, we will be doing on the Twitch channel for Tales from the Film Set the Peacemaker Episode 5 watch party. There will be 4 of us on that one. So yes. We are not going to probably do anything that involves flaming hot Cheetos and F-bombs like we did in episode 3. Poor Ryan. There was 43 of them in that episode, which meant he
Yeah,
had
we
to
need
eat
to clip that
43
for
of these with
Twitch.
nothing to drink. But yeah, on behalf of Mr. Leckington, Mr. JT McGuire, Mr. Ryan O'Regan, I am Scott Schertzen. Thank you to Eduardo for handling all those comments and everything. Have a great night and be cool.
Bye-bye.